I'd like to thank Nicholas for being generous enough to give me this time. I'll be in LUT at the end of August, and we'll be leaving this. And I'll be leaving my spiritual family here, and I'm applying to jobs on the mainland and elsewhere. So he's given me this opportunity, and I am so appreciative. Human beings are magnificent creatures, don't you agree? Absolutely splendid. There is a bit of a challenge, though, and that is that we are the species of all the species on this planet that spend an extraordinary amount of time being dependent on someone else. First, it's our parents for survival needs. But as we grow and expand, we also learn from our friends. We learn from our teachers, etc. We learn, unfortunately, by comparison. We find out what's good and bad. We find out what's right and wrong. We find out that he's smarter, she's dumber, he's taller, he's shorter, he has more money, she has nothing. It's all by comparison. And that's the problem, because we end up learning how to value ourselves based on something and someone out there. It's not here inside, and here inside is where it counts. Now, the problem is complicated further by the fact that by the time we're 30 years old, 90% of our programming of our thinking has been programmed. 90% by the time we're 30. And there are 40 to 60,000 thoughts running through our wonderful brains every single day. And do you suppose all of them are positive? No. The problem is, the challenge is, that most of those thoughts are negative, or they're certainly judgmental. So we spend a heck of a lot of time judging ourselves, beating ourselves up, because we're not quite good enough. We're not worthy. We're not achieving in this way that Dad expected. We're not doing it Mom's way. So we constantly are making judgments on ourselves. We get hooked into that. It is so easy. And then what happens? We start thinking about the past. Well, I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. If only Dad had said this, my brother had done that, my uncle had done that, my friend had done that. It's all out there. It's not about what's inside. And I believe firmly that every single one of us is born in absolute innocence with divine potential. We are created in the image and likeness of God. And to us at Unity, that means that we have, at the moment of conception perhaps, a divinity within us with unlimited potential, unlimited possibilities. And yet we spend no time in our growing up years, when we're like sponges absorbing information. We spend almost no time developing the spiritual being that we truly are. We stay stuck in the past, and we seem to wrap it around us like a security blanket, and the problem is that that security blanket becomes very, very long, and it becomes laden with rocks and boulders, and it becomes increasingly more difficult to pull it along. We're going to talk about three things today: self-love, self-acceptance, and self-forgiveness. And I can tell you I am an expert on these three topics. I have had to do a great deal of it. For you to understand, I need to tell you a little bit about my growing up experience. I was extremely fortunate because I was very securely anchored in the happy, exuberant, loving, caring, compassionate child by the age of 6. And it's that anchoring that saved me and brought me to this place. But it's taken me 6 decades to get here. It's taken a long time. I was raised by a mother who was certifiably nuts. I wish it had just been an idiosyncrasy, a little eccentricity or something. But she truly, when I was in my 30s, and she was diagnosed as a functioning paranoid schizophrenic. And by the age of 7, I was living in San Francisco, a latchkey kid, completely independent, completely independent and self-reliant. She was emotionally unavailable, oftentimes physically not available. We lived in hotels, residence clubs, boarding houses. Now, what exactly happened in there, I'm not sure because I don't remember it. From the age of 7 to 12, I remember practically nothing. And my mother was absent in my memory. And all that time, I can tell you with absolute certainty that by the time I was 14, I'd lived in 33 places. I could fit in anywhere. I learned how to adapt. This is a good quality. Yeah, there's a price for it, though. There's a price for it, though. And it's a matter of letting people inside me. But my mother never one time said that she loved me. I can remember one time in my entire life where she cuddled me or hugged me. That's it. So, by the time I hit adulthood, I was really keen to be loved, to feel lovable, to be accepted. So I started getting married. And I married a lot. Some of you know the truth, it's a magic number of 7. And I tell you, I say it's a magic number because here at Unity is either perfection or completion. They weren't perfect, but it's definitely complete. So I married these people, but it was all for the wrong reasons. I was incredibly needy on the inside, incredibly needy. So in a way you could say that I used men to satisfy my need. I did, but I had no clue what I was doing, really. I had no clue what it was about at all. What I did become aware of, though, is the hurt I caused other people. One man in particular, and I carried this with me always, came this close to committing murder-suicide because of the pain. My daughter, we have an on-again, off-again relationship. Either it's really on and wonderful, or it's not at all. I finally reached the point in my life where I had to take full responsibility for my actions and my participation in them. So 3 years ago, I finally let down all the barriers. I could be really nice and be understated and say I cried. Wrong-amundo. I wept. I sobbed. I was on my knees. I was beating the bed. And I kept that up for about a week. Perhaps 2 weeks. Here's the good news about that. I had been nursing all of this for decades, and it was like a festering sore, and I kept picking at the scab, and it would sort of ooze some more and get bigger. I never had stopped and taken the time to clean out the wound and to allow it to heal in a healthy manner. So I was brought to my knees. But I learned. So here we go, self-love. Listen to yourself, that self-talk, that endless loop. Listen to yourself, and in that quietude, you might hear the voice of God. I have. But I had to strip myself naked. I had to, as it says in the New Testament, I had to die so I could live. I had to die. Self-love, the Buddha says that of all the people in the world, you are the most deserving of your love and approval, love and affection. This is so important to understand. There is no one else in the world more deserving than you are of benefiting from who you are. Myrtle Fillmore was a co-founder of Unity. In her early 40s, she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. She was given 2 years to live. That's all. And she was already on a spiritual path. She began to heal herself. She thought about her entire body. She blessed every tiny bit of her body, thanked the organs for what they had done, and she began to heal. She began to get better. But at some point, she sort of stalled in there. Went into prayer and meditation. Why am I not progressing? Why am I seem to have stopped? And the answer came to her that she had been focusing on the flaws. She was blessing her body, but she was thinking in terms of herself. She was thinking more about her flaws. And the voice came to her, value your gifts. Value your gifts. We all have special, unique gifts within us. There are no two people are ever exactly alike, and that means that every single one of you has a special and rare gift to share with the rest of the world, and the truth is, the world is waiting for you to share it. I finally found my gift, and it's standing here at an audience like this of people that I love and wanting them to get how magnificent we truly are, and it doesn't matter that we've got a whole bunch of warts in history. That is in the past. And we're moving on. So self-love. Myrtle found her gifts. I'm encouraging you to find your gifts. I am encouraging you to do I am affirmations. I am goodness. I am kindness. I am compassionate. I am love. I am healing. I am whole. I am giving. I am sharing. I am supportive. I am a friend. Anything. I am abundant. Whatever word pops into your mind, I am, and you will begin the process of loving yourself. You deserve to love yourself. Now, self-acceptance. Oh, finishing that thought, I love this quote from the philosopher Nietzsche, German philosopher. One's own self is well hidden from one's own self. Yes? Here's the thing, of all mines of treasure, one's own is the last to be dug up. Move it right up to the top of the priority list, because you are a treasure and you have gifts that the world is waiting to receive. Self-acceptance. Brandon is a well-known psychotherapist in the field of self-esteem. Self-acceptance is my refusal to be in an adversarial relationship with myself, an adversarial relationship. You see, all of us are one with God. We are one with each other. But we are separated because everything is out there. We forget the oneness that we are with God and with each other. So our higher self is up here thinking wonderful divine thoughts, and we're down here in the muck. And the trick is to bring those together again. Reunite them. They started that way. How do we begin to practice self-acceptance? Small acts of kindness. Pick up something for someone who can't lean over easily. Give a couple of dollars to someone who needs it. Tell someone that they've got, I love that shirt, Michael. It's got a great color to it. It's fabulous. John, I really like the way your beard's trimmed. I love that color. You see, we can go, oh, that's my favorite color that you're wearing right there. Have you ever done that to a perfect stranger? Try it. It's amazing what comes over their faces when all of a sudden a perfect stranger walks up and said, I wish I had a flower like that in my hair. It's magic stuff. It truly is. And who should you be the kindest to? Who should you also include every day in your acts of kindness? You. Absolutely yourselves. Absolutely yourselves. I also suggest a mantra in, I am doing the very best I can right now, in this moment. That moment is past. But at this moment, I'm doing the very best I can. That moment's gone. And at this moment, I'm doing the very best I can. My mother did the very best she could. I did the very best I could with my daughter. The one thing is she knows I love her. Okay, score one for me on that one. Okay? On my mirror, when I get up in the morning, I have posted, I'm a better person today than I was yesterday. And I look at that every single morning, and it brings joy. self-acceptance. Last, and this is the toughie for me, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. I certainly know that in my experience, I was the prisoner, absolutely a prisoner of my past. I was held hostage by my thoughts. I've learned to change it around. Has it been easy? No. It's been some tough work sometimes. I don't care. I'm right here now at this moment on the path that I was called, to which I was called. I'm in exactly the right place at the right time right now. Robert Brummett also says forgiveness is giving up any hope of having a better past. There's nothing we can do about it. Give it up. I have tried to make amends as I can to the people I've injured over the years. And mind you, unintentionally, I never got up and said, by gosh, I want that bastard to hurt. I never did it on purpose. I was absolutely clueless, absolutely ignorant. It was never intentional. So I've made amends, and I also have learned to forgive myself. Would I make the same mistakes again? Absolutely not. Would I cause someone else any injury or pain at all to fill my need? Absolutely not. But I am willing to give back. I am willing to give back. So, pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the body. There is a feeling a millisecond before you actually have an emotion or a thought. Did you know that? A millisecond before, your body is going to tell you something before you can even think it. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Pay attention to those things. Pray and meditate about loving yourself, accepting yourself, forgiving yourself. So, so important. And you are your best friend. You can become your best friend. You deserve your own best company. And besides, Diane von Furstenberg, the clothes designer, says, you spend all your time with yourself, you might as well enjoy your company. Thank you so much.